In a world full of Instagram filters and Snapchat emojis, imagine if you didn't have to do that. All you had to do to look beautiful was wear a mask. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Flesh and Fantasy, a trilogy of tales of death and love. First, a drowning during Mardi Gras leads to a bitter woman's masked reckoning. Next, an upstanding citizen is driven to madness and murder by a palm reader's prophecy. Finally, a circus tightrope walker is haunted by dreams of a mysterious woman and his own death. One of the first horror anthology films made by an American studio, this is Flesh and Fantasy. The first story in Flesh and Fantasy follows Betty Field, who plays Henrietta. Henrietta thinks of herself as selfish and ugly till she puts on a mask. Leads us to a Mardi Gras party where she becomes attractive to the gentleman, good and bad. She has to fend off one of them, and another one really takes a liking to her. This guy falls head over heels for her and proclaims his love and wants to get married to her right on the spot. Very 1940s of this guy. And she's for the ride. Henrietta is just wants to be loved for her beauty, but her beauty is artificial. The second story of Flesh and Fantasy deals with a palm reader who is at a party reading palms of other people, other guests there at the party, and everything that he says is coming true. In walks Edward G. Robinson. He gets his palm read, and he doesn't believe the palm reader. He's like, don't give me that garbage. I want to know everything. The palm reader says, be careful what you wish for. You may not like it. Edward G. Robinson's like, I don't care. I want to know everything. I want to know the full truth. What am I going to do? How am I going to die? All this, every good and bad, all the information. Palm reader gives it to him. He tells Edward G. Robinson, you are going to commit murder. This leads Edward G. Robinson onto this spiraling obsession, going through all the scenarios of like, who could he be? Who could he kill? Why would he want to kill him? I thought story 2 was brilliantly done. Felt like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Story 3 follows a famous carnival acrobat who has a dream where he falls off the tightrope and sees a woman screaming. Story 3, unfortunately, I didn't really like. He ends up becoming sort of obsessed with the dream, and he's like, don't I know you? And he has to fill her in on, like, I've had this dream, maybe it's a premonition type thing. And it just didn't really land for me as well as story 2. So I definitely would say story 2 was the stronger point of Flesh and Fantasy. But some great filmmaking here. There's a lot of use of shadows, set pieces are great, the acting is really strong. I just thought maybe the writing suffered a little bit. Flesh and Fantasy comes to us from Vinegar Syndrome. As you can see, the front has the embossing on the slipcover, and the back, this nice little mask here. You're going to kill, you're going to die, and unseen hands pushed him on. So kind of foreshadowing of all 3 stories here. Old artwork here on front, and on the back, special features and information like that. Open it up, just a disc, no booklet or anything. Special features include commentary track by author Barry Forsaw and film critic author Kim Newton, and also a featurette in French. It's about a documentary. I think it's about an hour long, and then a stills gallery and a theatrical trailer. So from 1943, it's only 94 minutes. Aspect ratio is 1:37. If you're a fan of Edward G. Robinson or any of the 1940s film noir, I think this was a risk for Universal to really put out at the time, and I don't know if it really landed fully for me. What did you guys think of Flesh and Fantasy? Did you pick it up? Have you seen it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, this has been Return of the Disc. I'm Dan. For more Return of the Disc, visit returnofthedisc.com. Check out the audio version of today's show, available on all major podcast platforms. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel.